Alright everybody, welcome. I'm playing this game for almost 600 hours. If you guys follow the channel, you know that I'm very active in terms of higher ups. As a matter of fact, I uploaded until now 550 higher ups gameplay videos plus 84 higher ups YouTube shorts. And that is a lot if you ask me. No matter if you are just starting playing higher ups now or you are far down in the rabbit hole and you just cannot make up your mind what gun you love the most, this video is for you. But before we dive in, it's worth mentioning that we won't talk about the guns we buy with real money and the ones we get from clan weapon caches. I don't own any of those, so I cannot speak about them. There are also guns you get as a reward, like Soap Mod and Ace 31. I have them both, so I'll include them in my tier list. I'll be breaking the guns in 4 classes: Assault, Destroyer, Sniper, and Recon, and I will show you guys what guns are the best, explaining along the way how I came to this conclusion. Just bear in mind, this is a very subjective video, and what you like, I may not, and the other way around. We are looking at recoil, fire rate, the distance the damage starts decreasing, reload speed, especially for sniper and marksman rifles, bullets caliber and how many are in the magazine, and also how many mags you can carry, and last but not least, the mobility. There are 62 primary guns in the game, and we'll go through all of them over the 4 videos in this series. But I will also mention the 2 secondary guns I use the most when I play the game. This is part 1, so in this video we'll only talk about Assault class, which has 23 primary guns. So let's start from top and move down to the bottom, and let's talk about the best, the worst, and the ugly of all guns in higher ups, guys. First one is M4A1, which is actually one of the meta guns in the game. It unlocks right when you open the game. I've been using it for a good chunk of time, but you know how it goes. The more guns you unlock, the better chances for you to find something that suits you better. However, M4A1 is still, even to this day, one of the best guns, at least for me. I brought it down to 25 recoil, that combined with 83 fire rate and 52 meters at 100% damage, and not to mention the good looks, makes it one of the best guns in the game. On top of everything, the fact that you will have it from first day makes it a very sweet deal. And if you don't know already, there is a marketplace on Steam where you can sell or buy attachments and camo for very good prices. Some of them are as cheap as a few cents. Just open the game page on Steam, then click on Market and enjoy shopping. AK-12 and AK-74 are both tier 3 guns, but before we forget, let's just put this one in meta M4A1, and then let's talk a little bit about AK-12 and AK-74. They are coming close, actually, interestingly enough, to M4A1 in a few places, in a few spots. However, the super low fire rates are bringing them down to tier 3. So let's just put them both in tier 3 before we forget. And then we're gonna move to mod 3, which is an interesting gun. It's interesting because it unlocks a max level Rust Act. So basically, if you go to contracts, Rust Act, it's unlocking here. So mod A3 and also this OTS 33, which is a very good sidearm, they unlock here at the last max level Rust Act. So because of the fact that it unlocks so late in the game, you would expect actually a really good performance. Well, it's not really the case. It's a really good looking gun, but it has a couple of problems. And one of the problems is actually the recoil. I brought mine to 37, and that is because it doesn't take a compensator. it doesn't take near like M4A1 has, for example, which has minus 17% recoil reduction. So just because of that, actually, it's one of the guns in the game that I'm not playing that much with. It's still a good-looking gun. It still takes the HHS for the scope and the PERST for the tactical device. The fire rate is 83, which is decent. It uses some strange ammo 9x39 SP6. I don't know what that means. If you look at the numbers of damage and penetration, it's actually decent. It's better than for M41. But then you look at the distance, the damage starts decreasing, and it's at 39 meters with my attachments versus 52 meters with the attachments on M4A1, which again makes this gun a little bit tricky to play with. I even suspect a little bit of delay when you start firing. I may be wrong about it, but it's just something about it and the stats as well that makes me not play this gun a lot. So we're gonna just put it in tier 2 for now. The next two guns we're gonna talk about is ND 7.5 and PDRC. Very comparable, very quite similar to M4A1 in a couple of spots. The only so if you for whatever reason actually you don't like M4A1, these two guns could be a decent option. They look good, ND 7.5 and PDRC, both of them, they're looking good. They have the same 556 by 45 millimeter NATO ammo. Again, this low fire at 26 and 29, and the other one 77 and 71 reload speed. Decent options if, again, for whatever reason you don't like M4A1. So both of them, they go to tier 1. F2000 and AKMS, these two, are tier 2 guns, have a subpar fire rate. AKMS actually would have been in tier 2 because it's featuring bigger ammo, 762 by 39, shouldn't have lacked good attachments. No good compensator, and HHS doesn't work on it. So they are both going in tier 2. And talking about shotguns, let's talk about shotguns for a second here. There are 4 shotguns in the game: MP133, Sega, Spas, and Fabarn. The worst of all, in my opinion, is Spas. I don't play much with shotguns, but just for the sake of the video, actually, I took them in a battle and I tested all of them. And of all, Spas, just for me personally, didn't appeal that much. So I will put this one in tier 3, and I will put the other 3 in tier 2. Again, it's more a matter of personal preferences. And I don't see myself using that much shotguns in the game. But for whoever uses them in the game, I think we can agree that Spas actually it's the least appealing of all 4. So let's just put them here now so we don't forget about us. MP133, Sega. Actually, Sega has a magazine compared to MP133, which kind of makes it better than MP133 and better than Fabarn. But to put one shotgun in tier 1 is just not for me, because all the guns that I will put in meta tier, and tier 1 are guns that I can play anytime, day and night. So Sega, unfortunately, is just not one of those guns. Again, it's a matter of personal preferences, and what works for me, it may not work for you, and the other way around. Okay, so we are at G36C. G36C is a tier 2 gun. And the only things that makes it a tier 2 gun is the low fire rate. Otherwise, it would have been tier 1. It takes the same exact attachments at M4A1, and it unlocks quite early in the game. So if you, for whatever reason, don't like other guns, G36C could be a good option. AK-105 goes to tier 3. Has a too big of a recoil for that caliber, and the fire rate is just too low for my taste. Unfortunately, it's a tier 3 gun. So 105 goes to tier 3. Then we have the MK16. MK16, actually, I was very tempted to put in the last tier. However, I still like the looks of the gun, and I just have a decent, good feeling when playing with it. It's still gonna go in tier 3, nevertheless. It just doesn't shine anywhere, and except the low recoil, it's just not one of the guns that I'm thinking to play or I play with it. So yeah, it goes to tier 3, MK16. And then we get to AUG A3, which has quite similar stats with G36C, so we're gonna just put it in tier 2 as well. Which brings us to Ace Val, which in my opinion is the worst or one of the worst guns in the game. Is just astonishing, like how big the recoil is. It only has one attachment, so you cannot put compensator, you cannot put tactical device on it. The fire rate it's low at only 73. It uses this strange 939 bullets. It's more like a pistol kind of ammo. Only 20 bullets in the magazine. The damage is starts decreasing at 35. It's just overall one of the worst guns in the game. Please drop a comment if you agree or disagree with me. I would like to know your opinion on ASVAL. So ASVAL goes to the last tier. And then we have ACRC and AAK 971, both meta guns. They go shoulder to shoulder with M4A1. If we check the stats, they are almost identical to M4A1. I would even say that ACRC has a bit of an edge compared to the other two because it takes 40 bullets in the magazine. However, I personally prefer M4A1 over these two, but nevertheless, they are super fun guns to play with. So if you, for whatever strange reason, don't like M4A1, then you can go with ACRC or AEK 971 at any time, day and night. They are super fun guns to play with. So we're gonna put these two in the meta tier. And then we have two interesting assault rifles. They unlock pretty late in the game. SA-58 and Scott H. Super good assault rifles, considering they use 7.62x51 NATO ammo, 30 bullets in the magazine for the SA-58 and only 20 bullets in the Scott H. But Scott H, my friends, has a super long distance shooting, damage increase, damage decreases basically at 85 meters with my attachments. If you look here, you can also see that it's using this super duper long distance scope and short distance scope as well, because the magnification is 1x to 9x, TR139, which is God mode meta tier attachment. So if you use this one, basically you can use Scar H as a marksman rifle / sniper rifle and have 20 bullets in a magazine, and then have a reload speed of 69, which is far superior than any marksman rifle or sniper rifle in the game. It is a beast of a gun in single mode fire. You can use it as a replacement for a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle if, for whatever reason, if you don't like to play with that class. If you don't like to play with the sniper rifle class and you want to play with the assault, or maybe you have contracts for assault that are better than sniper rifle, and you still want to play long distance shots, then this is the gun for you. SA 58. Let's look at this one as well. We go here, and again with this one you can see that it's using the TR139. The only inconvenient, if you can call it that, with SA58 versus Scar H is the damage increase, the damage decrease distance, which starts at 59 meters versus 85 meters. So it's a little bit of a difference, but anyway, both cases they are super good and fun guns to play with. All right, so these two will go to tier 1. And we are down to 3 guns, and Ace-31 is again one of those guns that you get as a reward in a game, and this one you get it for 30 days when you play the game. It's gonna ask you if you wanna pick submod or Ace-31. Personally, I prefer submod, but honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these, considering that for recon, actually, you have actually better guns in the recon class to play with, and for Ace-30 for assault, you only have these 3 guns. So I don't know. I mean, it really is a question of personal preferences. Ace-31 definitely has more base recoil, right? And you can only bring it if we put all the attachments. Let's see what attachments it takes. So it takes the HHS. It doesn't take the Nero. So there you go. We're losing 11% of reduction just because of that. So I brought mine around 40%. Sorry, about 40 points. I have it in the other account. Other than that, it takes the same exact attachments and the same ammo as submod. So it really is a question of preferences. I would personally prefer submod over Ace-31, but again, it's all about personal preference and how you like playing the game. So we're gonna put this one here in tier 1. A decent option again, if you prefer bigger ammo over 5.56. And then we get to this 2 last guns, 417D and MDR. 417D has actually a bit of an edge, a lot of edge over MDR, because of a couple of things. The damage decreases at 77 meters compared to 40 meters, and even if you look at the base damage, is 30 meters difference. So when I look at the difference with this high ammo caliber guns, I'm always thinking of using the TR-139. So if you look here, TR-139, with its incredible magnification from 1x to 9x, which we discussed about already, if you look at MDR, you're going to see that it's not taking it. It's not taking this attachment. So right from the get-go, we have a problem with that. So because of that alone, we will put the 417D in the tier 1 and MDR in the tier 3, just because alone, that thing alone. Other than that, they're quite comparable, but I would say 470D, it's superior in a couple of good spots, and it makes it hard to put them in both in the same class, in the same tier. So 417D goes to tier 1 and MDR goes to tier 3. And with that, guys, we are done with the assault class primary guns tier list. And for part 2 of the video, we're gonna talk about the destroyer, and hopefully you guys can watch this video as well. We'll watch this video as well, because actually I'm gonna talk about a couple of super interesting guns in this class. I'm not gonna say names because I wanna keep it a surprise, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about when you're gonna watch the next video in the series. Anyway, more on it in the next video. Cheers everybody, and see you in the battle.